So, after completely cocking up the FA Cup on Sunday evening, we now move on to the semi-final of the League Cup. A competition that Arsene Wenger has never won. A competition Arsene Wenger's never really took seriously. He's going to have to now, after fucking us up on Sunday. He's thrown all of his eggs into the League Cup basket. So now he has to pull something out the bag, otherwise he looks an even bigger cunt than he already looks. Now, I listened to his press conference earlier on this morning and I was just astounded by some of the shit that was coming out of this geezer's mouth. He sat there when asked about Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil, and they can talk to clubs across Europe. Does that concern you that they can negotiate deals with clubs across Europe? His answer was just unbelievable. He replied with, "No, it doesn't concern me, because most of the top players want to play in the Premier League." Really? Well, how comes the best players in the world playing fucking Spain then? You spastic. Seriously, what is your problem? What is this geezer's problem? Every single time I hear him speak, he winds me up. He was asked about Iwobi, what his thoughts are on the Iwobi incident. I'll give you mine in a minute. Basically, he come out and said if it's true, then, you know, if there was drugs, and he said that he didn't think there'd be drugs there at all. If there was drugs, then obviously Iwobi wasn't involved in that. Just because there's drugs there doesn't mean the player's doing it, which is fair enough. But he said that if it was true that he was up until stupid hours in the morning and he had been drinking, then he would fine him. Okay, that's great. How about fucking loan him out instead? See ya, ta-ta, go and play for fucking Burton Albion, because that's about your level. My thought on it is, like I just said, loan the cunt out. He ain't good enough. He's never going to be good enough. You've only got to look at his Instagram, not his Instagram, his Snapchat, sorry, to understand that this guy is so far up his own arse, it is unbelievable. Another one that is living off just getting a fat salary. Don't really give a fuck. Same sort of bracket as Hector Bellerin, the Spanish Justin Hoyt. They're both the same. They just do it in different ways. Iwobi's a bit flashy with his watches and his cars. Bellerin dresses like a fucking idiot and goes to fucking stupid fashion shows. But ultimately, too much too soon for these two, and they're just going downhill rapidly. Anyway, let's move on to the preview for the Chelsea game before I really lose my rag and sit here ranting for half an hour. Like I said at the very beginning of this video, we've thrown all of our eggs into this basket. And I do find it kind of ironic that a competition that Arsene Wenger's never bothered in is now going to be the be-all and end-all. And a competition that saved his backside 2 or 3 times in his career has now been tossed away for this competition. Obviously, as we all know, the first leg is at Stamford Bridge. We got a 0-0 draw there earlier in the season. Played pretty well, although, you know, we didn't win the game, but it was a vast improvement on previous games. A 0-0 draw against Chelsea is not a bad result. I'd take that again. Although I do want to win this competition, and I've said that all the way through this. I really want to win it. It looks like Arsene Wenger suddenly decided he wants to win it, and I think that will play on his mind now. The fact that he tossed the FA Cup game away against Nottingham Forest, I think that he will now decide to go all guns blazing, which was probably his plan in the first place, hence why he picked such a weakened squad. Not so much the 11, but the actual bench as well against Nottingham Forest. The bench was scandalous. For a club that's won the competition more times than anyone else, that was just a piss take. But I'm done ranting about that. So I'm going to go into my 1 to 11 for this game. And yeah, let's get on with it. Petr Cech in goal. Don't need to say any more. I am going to go with a 5 at the back, and I am going with Kolasinac left back. Apparently he's fit, he's back in training, and he should be playing. Right wing back, I'm going to go with Debuchy. Although he was absolutely fucking piss poor against Nottingham Forest, some of the crosses he was putting into the box were fantastic, and I just don't like fucking Bellerin. So sorry, he ain't starting. Debuchy is. Now, the back 3. I'm going to go with Mustafi. I'm also going to go with Callum Chambers, who didn't play against Nottingham Forest, so that was quite telling to me. And I'm going to go with Per Mertesacker. And although Per Mertesacker is fucking dog shit, he is the only defender we have that can actually defend. So what he lacks in pace, he does normally make up in positioning. Although they did get absolutely fucking roasted against Brereton, the Nottingham Forest striker at the weekend. But that's my back three. My midfield, the two midfielders I am going with are Jack Wilshere. I think that's a given. I think he's been fantastic since he's been back in the team, really, since the beginning of the season when he started games in the Europa League and the League Cup. I think he's been outstanding. Pretty much every single game I've seen him play, he's been brilliant. He capped his last game, funny enough, against Chelsea at the Emirates with a goal as well. Now there's Chelsea fans screaming at this guy, and he should have been fucking sent off. Yeah, he probably should have been sent off for a dive, which would have been his second yellow. He wasn't, but it is what it is, and we move on. So let's not chat about that. Next to him, I am going to go with Francis Coquelin. Purely and simply because El Neni was fucking garbage the other day. So I'm going to give Coquelin a run out in this game. I'm then going with Alexis Sanchez. Yep, that's the one that wants out, the one that everyone's turning against, the one that everyone's calling a snake, this and that. I am going with Alexis Sanchez because he can switch a game in an absolute blink of an eye. And like I've said on here umpteen times, when he does leave, which he's going to, I am going to applaud the geezer at the football club. He has been a joy to watch for 3.5 years. So don't care what anyone else's opinion is on that. My opinion is he's been the best player we've had for a decade. And I fully fucking understand why he wants to fuck off from this shambles. Next to him, another one who I think's fucking off, just doing it in a clever way, is Mesut Ozil. Like I've said before on here, he's got such a good PR team that everything he puts out has been well calculated, well thought out and well planned, and then they execute it perfectly with the way they tweet it or the way they write on their Facebook statuses or Instagram posts. Mesut Ozil's a very clever man, and so are his fucking PR team. But ultimately, I do think he is going to leave. And the way our fan base is, he will leave the hero, Alexis Sanchez will leave the villain. Don't really get that, because if they're both leaving, surely they're both villains. No? Never mind. Anyway, up top, Alexander Lacazette. Pay 50 million quid for the geezer. I want to see him start fucking producing, because the last couple of games, yes, his link-up play has been brilliant. Yes, his hold-up play has been brilliant, but he badly needs a goal. His confidence is shot at the minute, and I feel quite sorry for him, really. Imagine what he is thinking. He's come to Arsenal Football Club, which wasn't his first choice. Atletico Madrid was. He's come in, and he's just seen an absolute fucking circus of a football club. And he keeps getting subbed every 70 minutes. He must be sitting there going, why did I leave Lyon for this? Why didn't I just hold out for the Atletico move? But, again, it is what it is. And I'm sure he'll fucking suss Wenger out in another couple of weeks or months and probably demand to move in the summer. So, we'll fucking go round in another circle in the summer. But yeah, that's my team. Probably pointless me picking a team because, let's be honest, doesn't fucking matter who we pick. They all play the same fucking way. Sideways, slow, backwards, boring shit. None of them want to take on a man. They all want to play safe football. But, what can you do? Listen, I've ranted and ranted and ranted. What can you actually fucking do? Now, the way I see the game going, Chelsea are going to go full strength as well, I think. Obviously, we're 2 games away over this 2-leg tie from getting to Wembley. And that is a massive draw for both clubs. Regardless of whether people discredit the League Cup, it's still a chance to go to Wembley and have a day out. And personally, I want to go back to Wembley. Every time I've been there, we've won. So why wouldn't I want to go back there? I see this game going to be a tight game. I see Chelsea sitting back. I don't think they're going to go too far forward. Obviously, a 0-0 for them is not the worst result in the world either. Because if they nick a goal at the Emirates, then we're under pressure because away goals kick in. But I don't see it being 0-0. I think we've got to be smart. We've got to try and manage the game properly. Yep, we don't do that at all. But you never know. We might just turn up this time. Arsene Wenger always has this little thing of saving his fucking arse when he needs a result. And normally it's against Chelsea. So the way I see this game, I see it as a tight game. I see it as 1 goal deciding it. Either or. But I'm going to go with my heart, not my head, and I'm going to go with Arsenal to win this game 2-1. Yeah, I don't know how I've come to that conclusion. Like I said, I picked it with my heart. If I went with my head, it'd be an embarrassing cricket score and we'd all be fuming again. Now, I'm not actually going to the game as it stands. I'm going to be watching from my sofa in the warmth of my house with a couple of cans of beer. But let me know what you guys think of the team. Let me know what you guys would do differently. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. Leave your comments down below. It's always nice to hear what you guys think, and I'll try and reply to as many of them as I can. Also, go and follow my Instagram if you would. It's LeeGunner82. I'm really trying to push and promote that at the minute. Not far off 1,700 on that at the minute. I really want that up to 10,000. But there we go. That's my team selection. That's my preview for the game. I am going with the first goal scorer of Alexander Lacazette. I'm out of here. Laters, peeps.